So, what do we have first?
We got a Facebook message here from Dangerous Danny. It's actually kind of a two-part question. He says, of all of the non-playoff teams, who had the most disappointing year and who has the most to look forward to?
Thank you so much for the question. Biggest disappointment, can I just say the original 6 teams? First time ever that all 4 of the original 6 American teams are out to start the playoffs, especially the New York Rangers. Last year, won the President's Trophy, got all the way to the conference finals, crashed out, horrible season. Now, Chicago probably wasn't that big of a disappointment.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say so. Bedard, I think, underwhelmed this year, and I think they wanted to take somewhat of a step forward, and they didn't. So I wouldn't say, necessarily the future is as bright as it was originally hoped. So not great for Chicago.
And what about Boston, Mark? Finishing last in the Eastern Conference as they might do here?
Well, for years we'd been saying they're going to fall off. They finally did. And, the signs were there early in the season. And this year there was no recovery. Montgomery was fired, and that just made a bad situation worse.
And John, the Detroit Red Wings, lots of problems in Motown, the Yzer plan.
Yeah, the Yzer plan's looking really bad. I got to say, it was sort of questionable for a while. I think now it's looking pretty hurting.
Yeah,
pretty hurting.
I'm guessing they're going to give him one more year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Mark, who was your biggest disappointment?
Well, every single year I fall into the Buffalo's going to be good trap. I fell into it again, and yet again they let me down 14 years in a row now without a playoff appearance. I don't know, what are they going to do? Do they start another rebuild? Is it time to move on from stars like Thompson and Dahlin, or is that too crazy? It's just, I don't know. Frustrating times in Buffalo. It doesn't look like there's any light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, biggest disappointment for you?
I mean, I would have to say the Nashville Predators. They made some big moves. They grabbed Steven Stamkos. They got Jonathan Marchessault. So it did not work out at all.
Yeah, some people had them as a dark horse for the cup, and they were one of the worst teams in the NHL.
Yeah, it was very, very disappointing for Nashville fans.
Yeah, I thought one of you guys might say Vancouver.
Yeah.
After making the playoffs last year, another team that was just dysfunctional this year.
Yeah, and Pettersson in Vancouver. So many disappointing teams this year, if you think about it.
Yes, and Philadelphia. I mean, Torts got fired.
Yeah.
That one didn't surprise me that much, to be honest. Okay, let's move on to something a little happier now. What about the teams with something to hope for? I think for me, it's got to be the Columbus Blue Jackets. What a great story.
Yeah.
Obviously, the tragic loss of Johnny Gaudreau was such a gut-wrenching thing, but these guys banded together. They fought hard, and they nearly pulled off a miracle getting into the playoffs. I think the most encouraging thing is some of the young guys stepping up. Look at Adam Fantilli, second pick overall a few seasons back. He was dynamite down the stretch. Kent Johnson also finally living up to that promise as an offensive stud. I think better days are ahead in Columbus.
Yeah, and Werenski.
What a year from Zach Werenski. Finally stays healthy, has a Norris caliber season. He's going to be a big part of this team moving forward. I like what I saw in Columbus.
Yeah, and that was a really fun story with Jet Greaves, the goalkeeper who got called up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He was lights out.
Coming out of nowhere. I'm not sure what his future holds, but still, it was a fun story.
Yeah,
Could be a Winnipeg Jet, maybe.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
And John, what about you?
I mean, I got to say, I just really like what I saw out of Macklin Celebrini. I think he's a budding superstar. I really think he's going to be a franchise player for this team. And in 3, 4, 5 years, they could be a real contender.
Yeah, I like what Mike Greer has done there. He's made a lot of savvy moves. I think that they've drafted and developed well so far. The rebuild is on track.
For me, couple of positive stories. Utah, right? First season there. I thought it went really well. They have a good young core. Anaheim, right? This team has been down in the dumps for a long time. Finally, they're showing some signs of life. But really, one of the biggest stories for me, positive stories, was the Calgary Flames. This team was counted out the whole way through, and Dustin Wolf was a revelation.
He was. I have to disagree with you, though, Jeff. I would not be encouraged as a Flames fan just because this is a team that overachieved. A lot of veterans were a big part of this team. I think they're going to get stuck in that mushy middle. And you might have a Carey Price situation with Montreal where you had a team that was not very good, dragged along by a great goalie who's just never able to get those high picks to do a true rebuild. So I don't know. If I was a Calgary fan, I'd be kind of worried about the situation.
I thought we were trying to keep things positive.
Well, I'm sorry. You chose Calgary. I'm just not that positive about Calgary.